Ford Ranger outdoor truck hauls first big game. William Hovey Smith, 2016. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, and here we repair some road trauma on our truck. Well, Ford Ranger and I are on the road again, and we are now in Florida. And Ranger is hauling game. Yep, my outdoor truck has got a hog in it. We have been on a hog hunt over near Lake Okeechobee, and we managed to get a 180-pound hog, and it's in the cooler and it's in the truck. So this is about a 1,000-mile trip back and forth for me from Central Georgia, and we did have one sort of traumatic event. There was a piece of metal in the road. It looked like actually a bit of a bumper or some such thing, and a tire picked it up, and I hit this piece of plastic trim here, and it broke off and separated, and I've got it sort of beat back in now, and we're going to put some duct tape on this to continue the trip back to Georgia. So I've got a hog in the back, and I'll show you how I stored it. Since it wasn't necessary for me to bring all my camping gear, I was able to drag my big old cooler here. So I've got the hog in that. I also brought a spare cooler that's empty right now, just in case I had a smaller hog and just didn't need that much space. And so clothes and foodstuffs and other gear. And so this is all I needed. And truck did tromp just fine. So we got all of this done, and now we can start home. But I was invited by Cato Ajama and Rudy Badencourt, both black powder pistol hunting enthusiasts, to participate in this hunt. And here I am, ridiculously overgunned, and we are hog hunting in Central Florida, right above Lake Okeechobee. I've got the Super Walker, I've got the Brunswick rifle, and I've got my 1858 Remington backup pistol, and we're going to see if we can find some hogs. The Brunswick rifle has done its thing. It got its hog, although we had to come all the way down to Florida above Lake Okeechobee to do it. This hog is about probably 180 pounds or so, and it's the biggest hog that we happen to have seen on this hunt. And as you can see from the still pictures that'll follow, we've been doing this with swamp buggies and using a dog, and actually the dog jumped the hog, and then we intersected it, and I shot it with a rifle at about 25 yards or so, headshot it, and it went down instantly. Now, if you've never seen one, well, this is a Florida swamp buggy. Yep, this is what we got around in. And now here I am getting ready to shoot the hog, which is actually across the creek. Now in the next frame, you'll see the plume of smoke coming out of the rifle, and actually the hog is falling dead on the ground. And here are the 3 bullets that were used: the belted ball, the one that went through the hog, and the finishing pistol shot. And here is a hog being skinned. It had less fat than any hog I've ever shot. And what do we do with them? Well, we eat them is what we do with them. And here I'm getting ready to grind one up. Now, back to fixing the truck. Here you see it as I got it back to Georgia with a piece of duct tape over the tire and holding it to the frame. And these are absolutely worthless. These are just decorative bolts and do no good at all. It's a dry, sunny day today. So the first thing we're going to try to do is to put those bolts and washers and nuts in the holes where the pop-outs actually came on the plastic skirt. And that'll secure that plastic fender extension. Now these are 1/4 inch by 1 inch bolts, and so hopefully I also put a washer on the end to catch plenty of metal and plastic on both sides, so we can find it from the underside here. There's our hole. good. Okay. So that one's held. All right. And of course we'll do the same thing to this one. It should be better indexed now. One of my canine supervisors who was watching all this going on told me that, yeah, it looked better if the heads were facing towards the tire rather than the tips. So we're going to take that bottom one out and reverse it. I also found while I was underneath the vehicle that there was yet another third screw that I could not see coming in from the bottom that was popped out, that pulled the bottom end of it closer to the body. So we're going to find another screw, maybe not nice and shiny and pretty, but one that will work, and replace that one as well. We have this thing repaired now so it won't flap off in the breeze at least. We have a new bolt here and washer, and one here and then one here. Perhaps not the most elegant solution in the world, but now this thing ain't going nowhere. Now about the other side, that still shows sign of trauma. We're now going to be starting this repair here with some glue bonding, and it's necessary that I get this done now because we in Georgia are starting the yellow pollen drop season. In short, our pine trees are pollinating and everything is being covered in a yellow pollen that will prevent bonding with almost anything. And right now I'm taking alcohol and wiping any glue and pollen and dirt off these surfaces, hopefully, so we can get as good a bond as we possibly can through this area. Now the reason I want to glue this is to keep mud and other stuff, as well as rain and water, from getting in here and freezing. Because if it freezes, then that will expand this gap again with every freeze-thaw cycle. And so I want to keep it closed if I possibly can, and as tightly bonded as I possibly can. So it's irregular right now, but we're hopefully going to put some glue bond here on this surface, in here, and along the bottom to help it hold. I'm going to use our familiar shoe glue, which is a flexible adhesive to help seal and bond this, and then pull this piece back in place. We'll get some goo out here, suitably named. It is gooey. Okay. Now that's part one. Then we have this gap right here to do something with. Now this is as tight as I can pull it together as it is right now. So we have another thing here. We have JB Weld. This is another Bondo kind of compound. And I'm going to attempt to lay it in this area right here and cover this. And to apply, you twist it and knead it in the hand like this until it is a uniform color. Try to knead it out in a rope. Not breaking the bond any. Okay. Obviously, using this file, push it as much into these cracks as I can get it. Okay, I've almost reached the maximum working time. So we're going to let that set and see what happens. Now we're taking the file and dressing this weld down to more nearly a smooth surface. I won't get it absolutely smooth and flush with the paint, but we'll get it smoother than it is so it won't accumulate so much debris. Well, that is neither pretty nor professional, but I think I've reached the point where I personally am doing about more harm than I'm doing good with my filing. You can see there on the corner where I've already rasped the paint off the finish of the plastic in one spot. So the more I continue, the more scratches I'm going to get. So I think we're going to call that good. We now have our Rust-Oleum metallic spray paint now, and unfortunately this color is very common in cars these days. So let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think that's about as good as it's going to get, guys. Now it doesn't look very pretty and it doesn't look very professional. But considering I've saved probably, well, even here in Georgia, about $120 for that repair if I took it to a body shop, or if we replace that entire piece brand new, well, a couple of hundred I would suspect. Yeah, that'll work. Well, how did we do? Well, from about 8 feet right here, yeah, you can see a little bit, but certainly it's sound, and it ain't going nowhere, so I'm going to call that one good. No, it is not as good as a body shop would have done, and I'm not a body shop guy, and I don't claim to be, but it got it patched, it got it on the truck, it got it solid. And it saved me, well, if I'd had this repaired at the body shop, they wanted $115 for it here in central Georgia. And if I had replaced this whole unit and taken it down to the dealer, well, I guarantee you this would have been a couple of hundred for this puny little repair here. So we saved that couple of hundred, and the truck is just as sound now as it ever was, even though maybe not as pretty. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. Among my prize-winning books are Extreme Muzzleloading, Backyard Deer Hunting, Crossbow Hunting, Practical Bow Fishing, and an 8-book ebook series including muzzleloaders for hunters and hunting big and small game with muzzleloading pistols. I also have a new series of business books under the Profit brand, including Ideas for New Businesses. Here's a little blurb about me and the book. Now keep in mind that this is an outdoor truck and I expected to pick up some battle scars along the way. So this repair is just fine for me. For more information on my books, blogs, and nearly 500 videos, go to my website, www.hoviesmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye and God bless.